This content will be recorded and made available in an accessible alternative format upon request. If you require captioning, transcription, or other communication services to access this content, please contact the Disability Resource Center at drc@snhu.edu or 877-591-4723. Select option 4.
Hi students, I want to welcome you to Introduction to Cultural Anthropology, or ATH-111 as we'll be calling it from now on. We're going to be studying culture. This is the primary concept through which anthropologists understand the behavior of human beings, the world around, past and present. So culture is a really complicated concept. It's something that we're going to be unpacking in our first weeks right through the finish of this course 8 weeks later. It's a really complicated concept with many different facets, but essentially it's something that all human beings do. It's something that we transmit from one generation to the next. It's how we learn how to perform as social beings in our society and to mostly meet expectations of society around us. So that means that every culture is different, and yet there are some elements that we all share in common. So these are some of the ideas that we're going to be working with right off the bat. Before we talk a little bit more about that, I want to introduce myself. So I am a cultural anthropologist. I am your professor. My name is Sarah Page, and I am a cultural anthropologist. I work in the Caribbean. So my other areas of specialty, apart from working in the Caribbean, is human rights and gender and sexuality studies. So my dissertation research has been investigating the on-the-ground movement for full rights and entitlements of citizenship for LGBT citizens in Jamaica. And this is within the context of a very homophobic social environment and lots of legal and institutional hurdles for LGBT citizens to gain full access to society. So that's an idea of just how one anthropologist's work kind of fits into the greater whole. And we'll be talking more about what anthropologists do and all the different kinds of work that they're able to accomplish. Through your MindEdge textbook, you'll be engaging the work of several different anthropologists whom you'll meet through a video format, not unlike what I'm doing here for you now. So in addition to working with culture, some of the major areas that we're going to be working on every single week. So an important one is discussion board. In discussion board, if you haven't taken a lot of courses here at SNHU before, discussion board happens every week. You're required to make a minimum of 3 posts. So what do those posts entail? Well, the first one and the most important one is your initial post. Your initial post is due typically on a Thursday of every week, and that is where you're going to answer the main questions that are posed to you in the discussion board prompt for that particular unit. All right. So each module has a theme, and the discussion board prompts are in line with that theme. So you need to answer all of those questions fully and to the best of your ability, incorporating your own experiences. The remaining 2 posts are responses to at least 2 of your classmates. You are more than welcome and highly encouraged, in fact, to respond to more than 2 of your peers, provided that it doesn't take away from some of the other things that you need to do for that week. Make sure that you're responding to your discussion board post to your classmate in a respectful manner, of course. Engage them in some of the topics that they've raised or questions that they've asked. Try to engage them as an individual and personalize your response to them. So there's 2 of those that you have to do each week. So that comprises your basic requirements for discussion board. We also have 4 short answer quizzes this term. You will see how they're mapped out when you look at the syllabus. Each quiz is mapped out with a specific date and timeline that it needs to be accomplished by. The last component is your final project. And your final project has 3 major scoring areas. So there are 2 early milestones. Those are basically to encourage you to plan out and do some preliminary research for your final project, and then there's the actual final project itself, which is essentially a paper. Don't stress out. You'll have plenty of time to plan all of that out, and of course you can always ask questions. So the last component is that I am here to guide you. Since I am an anthropologist who works in this area of study, I have lots of experience and knowledge that I can bring to the table. I've taught at 4 different universities now, so I have lots of teaching experience, and I love to work with students. It's a real privilege to have the opportunity to work with you. So, knowing that I'm an anthropologist and I work in this area of study, I have high standards for you. I want you to bring a lot of energy and focus and excitement to this course. I hope that you catch my excitement and my passion for what I do. So that being said, I expect you to do original work. Very important. Don't recycle papers. Don't borrow somebody else's words without citing them properly. Don't steal stuff from the internet. Please. I want to know what you think. That's so important. It's so important to me to understand what your process is, and maybe you're struggling with certain things. There's a lot of hot button issues we're going to be talking about this term. Anthropologists work with very controversial subjects where emotions run high. Topics like politics and religion and how to raise families the best way, language, things where politics and personal outlooks are very high stakes. These are subjects that anthropologists deal with on a daily basis, and it's one of the things that makes this area of study so fascinating. But at the same time, it can be very personal and it can be difficult. Sometimes we have to overcome our own personal biases to understand where someone else is coming from. And ultimately, this is one of the core things that I hope you take away from this course in the end, is how to, what I call, suspend disbelief. Suspend your own judgment to get beyond it so that you can understand where somebody else is coming from. Sometimes, maybe someone you disagree with. And when you can empathize with someone else who's very different from yourself, who maybe stands on the other side of the very same argument that you're so passionate about, well, then it deepens our humanity. And so that's really another core value at the heart of anthropology, is deepening our humanity, understanding other people as they are right now. So that's all I have for you today. I just wanted to welcome you to the course, and of course I'm here for you. You can always call me, you can text me, you can email me. Any other way you want to send a carrier pigeon, that's fine too. I'm here for you, and I can't wait to get started on this course. So we'll see you soon.